Good afternoon, good evening, students. I hope you're doing good. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're back with another video concerning grammar. As you can see, today's video is about the present perfect, which is a tense, rather important in English, but it gives speakers of some languages a difficult time, if I may say. That is because it uses concepts or ideas that do not exist in those languages, meaning the languages or the mother language of the students. In fact, the structure of the present perfect is very simple. The problems come with the use of the tense, and we also need to note that there are some differences indeed in usage between British and American English. So, in this lesson, we look at the structure and use of the present perfect tense, as well as the use of for and since. Okay? Before I start, as usual, I invite you to like the Facebook page of this channel in order to be notified whenever I post something new, and also subscribe to my channel if it's not already done. That would encourage me to do more and help you out during the period of exams. That being said, we shall start with the present perfect tense. So, how do we make the present perfect tense? This is very important. So, when we say how do we make the present perfect tense, it means we're talking about the structure. Okay? So the structure is quite forward. It's quite easy. We start with the subject, we add the auxiliary have, and then we add the main verb, right? The auxiliary have needs to be conjugated in the present simple, as you can see. And the conjugation of the present simple, when it comes to the auxiliary have, it's either have or has, okay? So when it's he, she, it, we have has. When it's the other personal pronouns, it's have. Okay, after that, we are going to add past participle. So this is basically the structure of the present perfect. Okay, just to recapitulate, we have the auxiliary verb have is conjugated in the present simple, which means have or has, and the main verb is invariable in past participle form. This means that the verb or the past participle form of the verb does not take an S of plurality, or maybe you think that since we have the personal pronoun he, so the past participle we should add an S or something. No, the past participle does not change. If your verb is regular, it means it will end with an ed. If it's irregular, you have to learn the verb. Okay, sometimes irregular verbs in English change completely. Okay, just like the verb to take. So to take, took, taken, right? So these are irregular verbs. In case you have a negative sentence, we insert not between the auxiliary verb and the main verb, okay? And question sentences, we exchange the subject and the auxiliary verb. We're going to see this in the examples that follow. So when it comes to a positive sentence like this one, we have I have seen E.T. E.T., by the way, is a movie, a very famous movie about aliens and an old one, right? So I have seen E.T. I is the subject, have is the auxiliary verb. The main verb is seen, which is an irregular verb. So the infinitive form of seen is to see, right? I see, I saw, I have seen, right? Same thing with the second example. You have eaten mine. She has not been to Rome, right? So this is the negative form if you want. She has not been to Rome. So not is inserted between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. This is very important to remember. And when it comes to the question forms or the question sentences, we invert or we exchange the subject and the auxiliary verb, which means the auxiliary verb now is here and the subject is here, right? Which is not the case with the other examples. So, how do we use the present perfect tense? So, this tense is called the present perfect tense, and there is always a connection with the past and with the present. Okay, this is why we call it the present perfect. So, we use the present perfect to talk about either experience, change, or continuing situation. Okay, so how do we use the present perfect to talk about experience? All right. We often use the present perfect to talk about experience from the past. We are not interested in when, so we're not interested really in when you did something. We only want to know if you did it. This is what we mean by experience. For instance, you say, "I have seen an alien," right? From your sentence, I will understand that this action happened in the past, but I'm not really interested when. I do not really know when. Have you seen this alien of yours, right? Another example, of course, he has lived in Bangkok. So I know that he has lived a long time ago, but it is not living right now, but I don't know exactly when. So have you been there? Same thing. We have never eaten caviar. So same concept, same meaning, right? We do not know something about the date. We only know something about the action itself, and from the way you say it when you use the present perfect, um, as if you are speaking about experience. So you know something, you're telling us about something that has happened in the past, but we don't know exactly when. Right. So just to explain the table, so you have these actions that I talked about, such as I have seen an alien and so on and so forth, happened in the past, but we don't know exactly when. All right. So the action or state was in the past, and the only relationship you have about that action and the present time. So, in case you don't know the difference between the present time and the present tense, I advise you to check my previous videos about grammar. I have made this distinction. So, the only relationship between the past and the present when it comes to these actions or these sentences is the fact that in my head, when I set these sentences, I have a memory about them. Okay? So, they're not really influencing the present, but I have a memory. Okay? So the connection with the past, the event was in the past, like I said. It is written here, and connection with the present in my head. Now I have a memory of the event. Okay, I know something about the event, or I have experience of it. Okay. Now the second case, the present perfect for change. Right. So we use the present perfect to talk about change or new information. Okay. For instance, you say, "I have bought a car." Okay, I have bought a car. We know that you have bought it not right now, so you bought it certainly in the past since you are stating it right now. It means you already have it. So the new information or a change of situation here is that in the past, maybe last week, last month, last year, you did not have a car, but now you do. Okay, so this is what we mean by present perfect for change, the change of situation. It's new information that you are trying to understand. For instance, you say John has broken his leg. Okay, same concept. Yesterday, John had a good leg, but now he has a bad leg or a broken leg. Okay, another example, if you want, has the price gone up? In the past, was the price, for instance, $1.50? But maybe today, in the present time, the price is $1.70. All right. Then we have the last example. The police have arrested the killer. So yesterday the killer was free, so he has committed a crime or a murder maybe, um, and so he was free, right? And today the police um, have arrested him. So now he is in prison maybe, okay, or in custody if you want. So, like I said, connection with the past is the opposite of the present, right? Here, for instance, now he is in the prison, but yesterday was free, right? We also have the connection with the present, which means the present is the opposite of the past, vice versa. So, present perfect for continuing situation, okay? This is very important as well. So we often use the present perfect to talk about a continuing situation. This is a state that started in the past and continues in the present and will probably continue in the future sometimes, right? This is a situation and not an action. This is very important to make the distinction between a situation and an action. And we usually use for or since with this structure. Okay. For instance, you say, I have worked here since June, or he has been ill for 2 days, or how long have you known Tara, right? So with these sentences, we know that the situation started in the past. So I have worked here since June. So June here is in the past, but we don't know which June, right? We know that I am still working since I'm stating it. I'm still working right now in the present time, and perhaps I will be working here tomorrow. Maybe if I don't decide to quit. This is why it's probably. It will probably. So maybe I will decide now to quit my job, and then I won't the action won't be in the future. Okay? So the connection with the past, the situation started in the past, of course, connection with the present, the situation continues in the present. This is what I have explained. Now we talk about for and since with present perfect tense. We use for and since with perfect tenses very often, right? So we use for to talk about a period of time, for instance, 5 minutes, 2 weeks, 6 years, a decade, a century, or something like that. And we use since to talk about a point in past time. For instance, 9 o'clock, 1st January, Monday, Tuesday, and so on and so forth. For instance, you have with for, you can use 20 minutes, 2 centuries, ever, a long time, 6 months, etc., etc. Right? With since, same thing. You have some examples that you can use. 6:15 p.m. January 1994. I left school. The beginning of time. This is quite thrilling. The beginning of time. That's quite huge. We are going to look at some examples. I have been here for 20 minutes. I have been here since 9 o'clock. John hasn't called for 6 months. John hasn't called since February. He has worked in New York for a long time. He has worked in New York since he left school, right? So that would be it for today's video. I hope that I made it clear for you when it comes to the present perfect tense. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below, or you can contact me on my Facebook page or any social media that I have given you on the description below. So yeah, stay safe, and I'll tell you, see you in the next video. Peace.